Hey, welcome back. This is That Yogi Guy. And I got a great response here. I want to thank you for all your answers. This is making yoga a reality for me rather than an unachievable dream. That is fantastic. That is my goal. That is exactly what I'm looking for, is to give you the benefit of my experience so that when we add our experience together, it can be more, the sum of the total is more than the parts. So here's a question. So if I understand you right, I will sit down in the meditative posture, state my intention, practice double breathing, practice the Hong Sa Pranayama, and then start at the bottom of the spine and practice the breath states. Yes, and no. Your outline is good. And I just want to clarify about the breath states. The breath states are not a pranayama technique. They are simply a psychophysiological mirror. So when you practice pranayama, you are going deeper and deeper inside of yourself. You're slowly reversing your attention back into yourself. You're reversing that flow of energy that you usually put on the world around you. You usually focus on what's going on around you. And you're turning that 180 degrees back inside. As you do that, you're going to contact different centers in your spine. And when you contact those centers of energy, then it's going to have a reflexive effect on your physiology. And that can be tracked through how the breath travels through your nasal cavity. And that is what the breath states are. So they're not a technique, they are a mirror. So they are a add-on to your pranayama technique. So the idea would be to practice your pranayama for a little bit, take a break, stop the pranayama, use the breath states as a mirror to figure out which center you're contacting currently. Once you figure that out, you put down the breath states and go back to your pranayama technique. And that way you use it as a mirror to reinforce what you're doing. Because each time you get to a different center, you're going to feel good. You're going to celebrate a little bit. You're going to feel good about yourself. And you should. There's nothing wrong with that. That's good stuff. You want to encourage yourself. You want to feel good about your practice of yoga. It's gonna suck you in. As you enjoy it more and more, it's going to suck you into it deeper. It's going to reinforce your practice. It's going to make you more confident in your practice. You're going to feel more sure of your footing inside of yoga. Yoga will become more and more real. And the troubles, the problems of the day will diminish a little bit. They'll be less and less of a huge thing. Not that they aren't important. They will just become less of a juggernaut of... They'll become less of a Gordian knot. You'll be able to see your life more clearly. So that is what the breath states do. They are not a technique in themselves. So I'm going to read your other question here. Do you get to the cervical breath state, then reverse back down to the heart and so on, up and down? Or do you just cycle from the bottom up? In other words, with the breath states, is it just once up and then stop at the door of the third eye? So again, it's not a technique inside of itself, so we don't really know where you're going to be. You may start your meditative practice already in the contacting a higher center than the lowest center in the spine. We don't know. It's simply a mirror, and we use it to find out where you are. So we don't know yet. We have to look and find out, and that's all it is. It's not a pranayama technique. So I hope that clarifies it. And if not, ask me more questions, and I'll talk about it more. Here's another question. Touching the roof of the mouth with the tip of the tongue, will that be a plus in this practice? It appears to me that it increases the activation of the third eye area. But again, I might just be imagining that. No, you're right. You're absolutely right. Touching the tip of the tongue to the roof of the mouth is a method. It's kind of a cheating method. It's a shortened method of Kachari Mudra. And Kachari Mudra is a huge commitment. If you're going to pursue that, for goodness sakes, please, please, please do it naturally. It takes time. It takes a lot of commitment. It's very physical. It requires a certain flexibility in your tongue to do the actual Kachari Mudra. So if you're going to pursue that, look that up, take a look at that, and just realize that it's a big commitment, and please, for goodness sake, do it naturally. And that's all I'll say for now. So yes, touching, that's fine. You don't have to do it. And just keep in mind that when you're in a very deep state, you're not going to want to move at all. So every time you move, even if you're moving something for Kachari Mudra, just or to do a shortened Kachari Mudra and touch the tip of your tongue to the roof of your mouth, just remember that you're activating your body again. So it has the potential to break you out of the deep state that you're in. And so that principle of being still, of being quiet, you don't want to break that up. So just keep that in mind. There are times when we need to move, but when we can, we want to be as still and quiet as possible, because we're trying to go inside. And reactivating the body sends us back out into the surface of the skin. It sends us our attention. It sends our attention back out to the surface of the skin, back out into the world, and we want to go the other direction. So just keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. And I have another question here. The microscopic orbit, what is your take on it? And how is it related to spinal pranayama? Well, that's a very good question. And what I would do is I would go onto Google, and you might already have this picture, but everybody listening, you might go onto Google if you're interested, and go to images section and look up microscopic orbit. And you'll see pictures of it. It goes down the spine and up the front of the body. So here's the difference between, this is a Taoist technique that comes from China, the microscopic orbit. It's a very, very neat, very cool tool. But here's the thing, it is for health. It is for health. It is for the purpose of physical health. It is not a energy technique that leads to pratyahara necessarily. That is not its primary intention. That may be a secondary slight benefit, but it is not its primary intention. So all the techniques that are in my book, techniques like Kriya Yoga, those have a very strong primary purpose of leading you through the steps, Patanjali steps, through pranayama, through pratyahara. That's what they're designed for. So there's a different intention there. There's a different purpose. There's a different goal, and so you can't just mix and match. You need to know what the tool is for. And the microscopic orbit, it's a great tool, but it is a different tool for a different purpose. So just keep that in mind. It's not a pranayama technique that is designed to lead you into pratyahara necessarily. It is a tool for health. You have energy lines throughout your entire body, and when you cycle energy through them, it's good for your body, it's good for your health, and that's part of what the microscopic orbit is doing. All right, so there's some more questions and answers, and thank you very much again for your questions. They're great questions, and please send me more. I look forward to them. This is based on you guys. This is based on what you need, what you would like to know, and what you'd like me to talk about. So thank you very much, and take care.